Hello students, now after discussing about the cell, its structure and properties, now we are going to discuss the composition of the cells. That means what is the components of the cells and what the cell consists of. So we will discuss one by one. So mainly there are three components of the cell. First is cytoplasm, second is nucleus, and third is the cell membrane. So cytoplasm, nucleus, and cell membrane. You know, cytoplasm is the fluid content of the cell that is found inside the cell membrane. It is made up of two parts. One is cell organelles and second is cell inclusions. Organelles, yes, mitochondria, Golgi body, ribosomes, ER, plastids and vacuoles. All these are the organelles of the cell that is found in the cytoplasm. And second is the inclusions, that is also known as the non-living structures of the cell. Inclusions are the special structures which are used to store the food like the starch, like glycogens, etc. in the cells, like the sulfur in the carbon in the prokaryotes also. And second is the nucleus, that is a dense structure found in the center of the cell. And third is the cell membrane. So today we are going to discuss about the cell membrane. Cell membrane is the outermost covering of the cell, which is found in most of the organisms, and it is found in all organisms because it is the covering of the cell. It is made of two parts. First is lipids and second is proteins. So we can say cell membrane is made up of lipoproteins. And we can start. Cell membrane consists of the lipid and proteins. It covers the outermost covering of the cells, which will separate the external environment from the internal components of the cell. Cell is also known as the selectively permeable in nature because it will allow some selected material to pass in and out of the cell. And third is it acts as a barrier between the cell and the environment. It means it is not easily allow the things from outside that can enter inside the cell. So if we are saying that it is selectively permeable in nature, that means it will select what material will pass in and out of the cell. Then what basis? That means there are two types of substance that can cross the cell membrane. One is the movement of the gases like the oxygen and the CO2. Yes, I can write here also oxygen and the CO2. As you know, the transfer of the gases only takes place with the help of a process known as the diffusion. Then what is the diffusion process? It is a spontaneous process in which ions and molecules will transfer from the high concentration to the low concentration, is known as the diffusion. And second is the movement of water. Yes, movement of water is also takes place by the diffusion, but that is the special type of the diffusion that is known as the osmosis. Yes, osmosis also, but it involves the mainly movement of water molecules from the high concentration of the water to the lower concentration of the water. That is known as the osmosis, but it will takes place with the help of a membrane. That means we can say movement of the water will take place from high concentration of the water to the lower concentration, but through a selectively permeable membrane. You can take the example of potato osmometer. If you will peel out the covering of the potato and then make a cavity in the potato, you just do one thing at that time. You will keep that potato cavity in a bar or in a glass that will contain the water, and keep that cavity over there for 1 or 2 hours. After that, you just observe the level of the water in the cavity. Level of the water in the cavity will increase because concentration of water is less inside the potato cavity and outside the potato is in the jar is high. That is why water will move from high concentration to the lower concentration, but that potato layer will act as a selectively permeable in nature. So now we will discuss one by one. The osmosis is a special type of diffusion. You can take an example. If you will keep one animal cell or the plant cell in a sugar or the salt solution, what would happen at that time? These three conditions can be observed. That solution can act as a hypertonic solution, isotonic solution and the hypotonic. What will happen in the hypertonic solution? You just take, this is the jar that contain the water outside, and this is the cell. You can take either animal or the plant cell. So if you will keep this animal or plant cell in the jar that have the water, what would happen? Yes, but that should contain the either salt or the sugar. So it is a sugar or a salt solution. At that time, if the plant cell have high concentration of water as compared to outside, what I am saying, if the concentration of water is inside the cell is high as compared to the environment, as a result the water will starts to move outside, and after that cell will shrink. That solution in which cell will shrink is known as a hypertonic solution. And next is the hypotonic solution. Yes, if you will keep the cell in a solution, that is maybe sugar or the salt solution, and if the concentration of the water is high outside the cell and low inside the cell, what would happen? This water will start to move inside the cell. As a result, cell will swell up. That solution is known as the hypotonic solution. Third is the isotonic solution. When the concentration of water is same both inside and outside the cell, that is, as a result, there will be no net movement of the water will take place between the cell and the environment. As a result, the size of the cell will be same. That is why it is known as the isotonic. So there will be no increase in the cell size. So we can say cell membrane is the main thing that will decide or select what will be passed or not inside and outside of the cell. Cell membrane is mainly 70 to 100 angstrom thick. It is elastic in nature, and structure of cell membrane is proved by a fluid mosaic model that was given by two scientists, Singer and Nicholson. In that model also they use the proteins and lipids, and they just drawn the structure, and with the help of the proteins and the lipids they just explain the structure of the cell membrane. This is the cell membrane only that will help the amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular protozoan that will help the amoeba to take the nutrition by the process of phagocytosis. After discussing about the cell membrane, now we are going to discuss about the next components of the cell, that is the cell wall and the nucleus. So what is cell wall? The rigid outer covering beside the cell membrane in the cells is known as the cell wall, but it is not found in all the organisms. In plants, bacteria and fungus only. In bacteria it is made up of peptidoglycan, in fungus it is made up of chitin, and in the plants it is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and the pectin. So its concentration is also different from the organism to organisms. What is cellulose? Cellulose is a complex polysaccharide that is made up of repeated units of the glucose, and main function of this cellulose is to provide the structural strength to the plants. So this cell wall mainly play a role in the plasmolysis. Then what is the plasmolysis? The shrinkage of the cell membrane and other component of the cell from the cell wall due to loss of water by the osmosis is known as the plasmolysis. So what are the functions of the cell wall? Cell wall responsible for many of the functions, like it maintain the shape, it provide the protection from the injury and the external pathogens, it will provide the mechanical support to the plants. Its composition also contain cutin and suberin, and that cutin and suberin also check the loss of water that will prevent the transpiration in the plants. And next is it will also responsible for the growth of the cell wall. Growth of the cell wall is responsible for the growth in the plants, because plants are of two types, monocots and dicots. And in dicots, due to the secondary growth, their girth will be increased, and that secondary growth mainly due to the growth in the cell wall. Okay, after discussing the cell wall, now we are going to discuss about the next component, that is the nucleus. Yes, nucleus is discovered by the Robert Brown. It is found in the eukaryotes, because when genetic material is covered by the nuclear membrane, that is known as the nucleus. But if genetic material is not covered by the nuclear membrane, then it is known as the nucleoid, which is mainly found in the prokaryotes. So in the prokaryotes, it is not fully developed due to the lack of the nuclear membranes. We can discuss the structure also. Nucleus is a double membrane bound structure. I have made a double membrane. This is the outer membrane, this is inner membrane. These are the nuclear pores, and this is the karyolymph nucleoplasm. Inside the nuclear membrane, these are the chromosomes and the nucleolus. So this is the structure of the nucleus. If we will see the composition, it is made of 80% proteins, 12% DNA, 5% RNA, and 3% lipids. Then how can you understand? Okay, now take an example. Suppose nucleus, that is the dark stained structure which is found in the center of the cell. It can stained by the iodine only. That can be observed easily. So dark stained structure of the cell, or we can say nucleus, is known as the chromatin. So this nucleus is made up of the chromosomes, and chromosome number will vary from cell to cell. These chromosomes are further made up of two parts, DNA and proteins. What is DNA? DNA is a deoxyribonucleic acid. And this DNA is further made up of genes. What are genes? Functional segments of the DNA is known as the genes that will code for the specific proteins required by the body. That is known as the genes. So you must need to know and must to remind this sequence, that always nucleus made up of chromosomes, chromosomes made up of DNA and proteins, and DNA made up of genes. DNA is also made up of three parts. We can say sugar, phosphate. One is sugar, second is phosphate, and third is nitrogenous base, that you will study in the higher classes. So what is the function of this cell? Firstly, in the function, DNA which is found in the cells will perform the replication process. What is replication? The process of making of the copy of the DNA from the DNA is known as the replication, because whenever any injury will take place and new parts will be formed, at that time body just need to make the new cells. At that time our cells will divide and make the new cells, but before dividing, the nucleus need to be make the another nucleus that will be the copy of that nucleus of the parent cell. So that is the replication that will require with the cell division. Then inside the nucleus, DNA will make the RNA also. RNA, what is RNA? RNA is the ribonucleic acid, that is the genetic material of some virus and the plants. So the process of making of DNA from DNA is replication. The process of making of RNA from the DNA is known as the transcription. So that RNA will form inside here only, and then it will pass through the nuclear pore outside the nucleus. Then why it is going outside? RNA is going outside because RNA will make the proteins, and protein synthesis only takes place in the ribosomes, and that ribosomes are lying in the cytoplasm over the ER. Next, it will be responsible for the cell metabolism, because some necessary proteins are some essential proteins are there that is required by the body and only synthesized by the body. Next is it is responsible for the cell growth, enlargement of the cell growth, and it is also responsible for the ribosomes formation. That means ribosomes are the protein factory, but where these ribosomes will be formed? So inside the nucleus. So we can say in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, this is the double membrane nucleus, double membrane that will separate it, because in eukaryotes you will call that nucleus because it have the nuclear membrane, but in prokaryotes it do not have the nuclear membrane, then you will call it nucleoid. One more difference is there. In prokaryotes you do not have histone proteins along with the DNA, but in eukaryotes have the DNA along with the histone proteins that will entangle the nucleus and help in the formation of nucleosomes. And this DNA is the mainly component that will carry all the process, or all the process will take place in other cells also. That means it is also known as the brain of the cells, because it will control all the activities of the cell. Students, after discussing about the cell membrane and the nucleus and cell wall, now we are going to discuss the cytoplasm and its components. Yes, cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is the fluid content of the cell that is found between the nucleus and the cell membrane. That is known as the cytoplasm. It contains all the cell organelles that is required for the different workings of the cell and for the body also. What is the composition of the cytoplasm? Cytoplasm mainly made up of 90% of the waters, minerals, sugars, ions, biomolecules like vitamins, proteins, RNA, DNA, enzymes. Along with it is made up of cell organelles and the inclusions. Cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi body, ribosomes, and inclusion like that will store the food like the starch, store the carbon, store the sugar, store the glycogen. So cytoplasm mainly divided into two parts. One is the ectoplasm and second is endoplasm. Ectoplasm is the outer fluid part that is lying near the cell membrane, that is known as the ectoplasm, and endoplasm is the inner part that is mainly near about the nucleus or center of the cell, that is known as the endoplasm. So what are the main functions of this cytoplasm? Because this cytoplasm will make the background fluid of the cell, or we can say it is the seat of all metabolic activities. All metabolic activities like the respiration and removal of the waste, that is excretion, oxidation, all these processes will take place inside the cell organelles of the cytoplasm. It will store the raw material also like the DNA, RNA and glycogen also. It will help in the exchange of interorganelles material. Yes, interorganelles material, that means if one organelle will synthesize some component that need to be needed by the other organelle of the cell, that this is the cytoplasm only that will transfer that material from one organelle to the other organelle. It also help in the exchange of material from in between the cell and the outside the cell also. That is why it is written exchange with the environment, that means extracellular exchange also. So inside the cytoplasm there are the cell organelles which we will discuss one by one. So first is endoplasmic reticulum, that is also known as the ER. What is the location of endoplasmic reticulum? It is exactly found on the outer membrane of the nucleus. Yes, where it will synthesize the proteins. So it is a network of membrane bound tubes and sheets that is found in the cytoplasm. It is made up of cisterna, tubules and vesicles. So it is of two types. One is smooth endoplasmic reticulum and second is rough endoplasmic reticulum. SER is made smooth endoplasmic reticulum made up of tubules and vesicles, and RER made up of mainly cisterna only. SER lacks the ribosome, that is why it will make the lipids. RER will make the ribosomes. RER have the ribosomes, that is why it makes the proteins. So SER synthesize the lipids and RER synthesize the proteins. So what are the main functions of the ER? ER will make a network-like structure inside the cytoplasm. That is why we can say that it makes the cytoskeleton of the cell. It can store the glycogen temporarily. It will help in the transport of proteins because proteins are made inside the ribosomes and ribosomes are attached on the ER. So that is the RER, because RER of endoplasmic reticulum have the ribosomes over surface that will make the protein, and that proteins is need to be transferred into the Golgi body for the packaging. So it will help in the transfer of proteins also. It will help in the exchange of material between the cytoplasm and the nucleus, because the nucleus will perform the replication and transcription, and that RNA should be transferred outside the cytoplasm. That can only take place with the help of the ER. SER is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum that will detoxify drugs and many poisons. Many drugs or antibiotics that we are taking, and so these can be neutralized by the ER, especially SER. So this is your topic. Friends, now we are going to discuss about the next component of the cell, which is Golgi apparatus and mitochondria. Already we have discussed about the endoplasmic reticulum, which is lies above the nucleus, because the component which is synthesized inside the nucleus will goes to, that is the RNA, that will carry the information that which proteins will be synthesized. Then ribosomes of the protein factory where proteins will be formed. But that ribosomes lie on the ER. Okay. So this Golgi apparatus, why we are studying here, main location of the Golgi body is near the ER. So first we will discuss about the Golgi body. Golgi body now was given by the Camillo Golgi in 1898, and it consists of cisterna, vesicles and tubules. So if we see the location, it is found near the ER, because this is the Golgi body. This phase is known as the cis phase, and this phase is known as the trans phase. This is the phase that is lies near the ER, and this part will receive the proteins from the RER. Then they will modified and packed in the form of vesicles and transported into the other components of the cells. So I have written here the main location. It is found near to ER, which is connected by the cis phase. What is the function of this Golgi body that we are studying here? Because it will help in the storage, modification and packaging of the proteins which is synthesized inside the ribosomes. It means the proteins which are synthesized are not actually used in the same form by the cells, so they should need to be modified. Second, it will also make complex sugar like the galactose, which Golgi body. It will also make the lysosomes and glycoproteins. It will also make yolk in the eggs, and main important function is that it help in the membrane biogenesis. Yes, these vesicles that are released from here will goes and attach to the plasma membrane, and that will help in the formation or extension of the membrane. That is known as the membrane biogenesis. I have written here, formation of plasma membrane is known as the membrane biogenesis. Next is the mitochondria. Mitochondria were discovered by the Kolliker in 1818. Mitochondria is a double membrane bound structure whose outer membrane is porous and inner membrane is deeply folded. This inner membrane has some special structures known as the oxysomes, and oxysomes are the site of ATP synthesis. Mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of the cells because it will make the energy, that is the ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is required by the working of the different organelles of the cells. That is why it is known as the powerhouse of the cells. This mitochondria also have their own DNA and the ribosomes. You just see the structure here. In between the outer membrane and inner membrane, there is a ETS, electron transport system. You just assume it in a cell there is a cytoplasm, and in the cytoplasm this mitochondria is float over there. So in the, if you will see cytoplasm, glycolysis process will operate, and inside the mitochondria there is a Krebs cycle will operate that will help in the formation of the ATP, which is written here matrix. So in the matrix, Krebs cycle will be there. This also have its own 70 S-type ribosomes, and it's have own DNA also. So what are the main functions of the mitochondria here? It is a seat of respiration. Respiration means breakdown of the food in presence of oxygen to liberate energy that is required by the different organelles of the body parts. That is why it is known as the seat of respiration. It will make some amino acids also, and main thing, it will regulate the calcium ion concentration in the cell, because it will store the calcium and it will supply the calcium to different organelles as required by the working of the cell. So these are the two components, Golgi apparatus and the mitochondria. Mitochondria is found in the eukaryotes, not in the prokaryotes, and these are maybe number will vary from cell to cell. As we already discussed about the most of the components, and only 3 components of the cells are left, that are lysosomes, plastids and vacuoles. So these are the last 3 topics of the chapter. So what are lysosomes? Lysosomes are the small spherical structural bodies found in the plants as well as in animals. The lysosomes were discovered by the Christian D. Doe in 1955. So these are membrane-bound sac-like structures that are filled with the digestive enzymes. That digestive enzymes is known as the lysozymes. So lysosomes which are filled inside the lysosomes are made by the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So these lysosomes are divided into 2 categories. One is animal lysosomes and second is the plant lysosomes. Animal lysosomes have the digestive enzymes, while as plant lysosomes do not have digestive enzymes. They have reserved food material that is stored inside the lysosomes. So what are the function of these lysosomes? Lysosomes act as a waste disposal system of the cells, where the cell can dump its waste inside the lysosomes. So secondly, these lysosomes keep the cells clean by digesting the foreign material, that may be bacteria, protozoans or pathogens that enter into the cell. And second, these can digest the worn out cell or release also, that means it acts as a cleaner of the cells. Next, these act as a suicidal bag also. But why it is known as suicidal bags? Whenever any pathogen is enter inside a cells, or it will start to damage any of the cell organs. What happened at that time? The lysosomes will release the lysozymes, and that lysozymes will start to digest the lysosomes also. You just think also like this, when any pathogen will enter inside the lysosomes also, so that at that time lysosomes release the digestive enzymes, and these digestive enzymes start to digest them only. That is why they are known as the suicidal bags of the cell. Next is the plastids. Plastids are found in the plants and some protozoans like the Euglena. These are double membrane bound structures like the mitochondria, and these have their own DNA and ribosomes also. So plastids are divided into three categories: chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Chloroplast are green in color because it have a pigment chlorophyll and some other accessory pigments also. And this chlorophyll pigment will help in the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a food making process of the plants, by which plant will convert the light energy into the chemical energy, and that chemical substance is utilized by the plants for their growth. So photosynthesis will take place inside the chloroplast, that is known as the kitchen of the cell. Next is a chromoplast, that is colored, and it will provide the color to the flowers and fruits also. Third is the leucoplast, that is colorless, and it will store the starch, oil and proteins. Okay, after that we comes to the third topic, that is the vacuoles. Vacuoles are the spherical structures that are smaller in size in the animals but larger size in the plants, and these mainly act as a storage set for the solids and the liquids. So what are the main function of these vacuoles? First, these vacuoles provide the turbidity and rigidity to the cells. It also stores some amino acids, sugars and proteins along with organic acids. So these vacuoles which are found inside the cells, we are discussing the main functions of them. Third, it will provide a protection against herbivores, because in some plants it will release some chemical substance that will make them distasteful for the herbivores. And it in some unicellular organisms like the amoeba, it acts as a food vacuole. That means whenever the amoeba is engulfing the food by the process of phagocytosis, it will engulf the food and make a phagosome, that is the food vacuole, and by which after that they will, with the help of enzymes, break down it and utilize the important substance and remove the excretory product. And in unicellular organisms also, it will help in the expelling the excess waste and excessive water outside the unicellular body. So these are the last three topics of which are the components of the cells. Now your chapter is complete, where we have discussed about the cell, its structure, its types, and the structure of the cells along with its components, and structure of the components and their functions. Thank you, beta.